Hello everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Crafty Bones. My name is Jennifer, and I like to crochet and I like to sew. I sometimes do some painting. Nothing fancy, just painting letters. But I'd like to show you a couple of things that I'm working on. I have a friend who's having a baby, and it is a rainbow baby. If you don't know, that's a baby you have after a miscarriage. And so I decided to do all of the projects for her that have a rainbow theme. No one knows the gender of the baby or a name, so we're doing our best. This is a bag that I'm making. I've made several bags before, but this one is a new style that I'm making. It's going to end up as a large tote. As you can see, it's got nylon straps for handles. This is actually the inside because I cover all of my seams in an extra wide double fold bias tape. It seems to create a little bit more strength, and you can put a little bit more weight in it, and then when you wash it, it lasts a little longer. Okay, sorry, I'm back. My dryer buzzed. So anyway, like I was saying, I have been working on the inside. I have one more side to put the bias tape on, then I can start working again on the outside. So far on the outside, I do have pockets, and the pockets are embroidered, so I'm going to cover the name because I have their last name on it. So as you can see, there's a center panel that is a tie-dye with bones and paw prints, and then the outer panels are tie-dye dogs. And she really loves her dog, and she really loves this rainbow baby, obviously, so that's what I'm gonna do. Now, other things that I have made for her include this. It is a quilted blanket, and the one side of the blanket is hot air balloons, and the inside of the blanket is just this rainbow chevron. I found this fabric a long time ago, and I had a perfect use for it now. I've made what I call wubbies. They're like a little tiny blanket with a satin ribbon edging that little ones find it easier to carry around because they're small and lightweight. And also, they work well in car seats, strollers, and just carriers. They're just smaller, but they're still a quilted blanket, so they still provide a lot of warmth, and they're just convenient, like I said. So there's a couple of those, both the same fabric. I've also made another large quilted blanket. This large quilted blanket, it's the same pattern as the bag, but this is a felt fabric, flannel, excuse me, rather than cotton. And then the inside is that same paw print that was on the wubbies. So that's one more. I've also made her some receiving blankets. Now, the receiving blankets that I make are rather large. Most of the receiving blankets you get at the hospital or the ones that you buy are kind of small, but these are big enough to actually swaddle a small infant. I mean, once they get to a certain age, and you're not going to be swaddling them anyway. But so we have two in this paw print. We have two that match the quilted blanket. And then I found another fabric that I thought was fabulous. It's rainbow tie-dye. So there's two receiving blankets in that. Now I have other things that I'm making, but I might get to that in another video. I also have some yarn I picked up today that I'm really excited about. Pardon me. So these were on clearance for $3.97 at Michael's, and they've been on clearance for a while, but today was the day I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger and buy them. I have a lot of yarn. You can see behind me. I have more tubs over there of more yarn. So I have lots of yarn, but you can't pass up a good deal. The original price on these was $9.99. They are the Yarn Lane Wellness Baby Comfort. You can see there, it's a lightweight number 2. It recommends a 4.5 crochet hook and a 3.5 millimeter knitting needle. So I figured these two would make a lovely blanket together. So I have these two. They are both over 800 yards. So two of them 1,600 yards for a baby blanket would be wonderful. I make a lot of baby blankets. Most of the people that I work with are in their 20s and 30s, and they're just getting into their families. So I've made a lot of blankets to give away. I have some in storage behind me. I haven't decided whether I'm getting that as the rainbow baby or not. I haven't decided. I have other projects that I'm working on for her. And I also got these two colors. Same price, $3.97. but these two I think will make a beautiful blanket as well. It's not showing up real well, but this is a coral and this is a lighter coral. So I know it looks kind of orangey there, but they're more coral than orange. So those are the 4 yarn that I bought at Michael's today. Now this Bernat blanket yarn has been sitting at my Walmart on clearance for the same $3 since that whole yarn clearance started at Michael's. And I have gone back 3 times and bought Comfy Cotton, and I keep leaving these sitting there because, well, because I don't need any more yarn. Today I decided was the day that they needed to come home with me. So I have 3, and this is a perfect color because I have some Bernat blanket stripes in Waves, I believe it's called, or Ocean Waves, and it has this teal in it, and I have 4 cakes of that. They're behind me up on the right there. That's where they're at. And this matches the color that's in there, and I have 4 of those and 3 of these, and these I think would make a nice border on some blanket that I make with that. It's typically a heavier blanket than I get for babies, but I have, and people seem to love them because they're just so soft and fuzzy. But these Bernat blanket are 100% polyester, 150 grams or 5.3 ounces, and approximately 108 yards per skein. They recommend an 8mm knitting hook and an 8mm crochet hook. I like using a bigger hook than what's recommended most often because I crochet very, very tightly. And whenever I have to do a gauge for a project, I always end up at least 2 hook sizes larger, at least 2 hook sizes, just to get the gauge right. And sometimes I'll get the width right and the height will be wrong, and sometimes I'll get the height right and the width will be wrong, and I have altered so many things trying to get that right, but they seem to work out pretty good so far. But anyway, so this is my yarn that I have bought today. Now I have some whips, and sorry. So this is also for the Rainbow Baby, and it is from Mikey at the Crochet Crowd and Yarnspirations. It is a study of Earth, and I am using Mandala Sparkle, and this is the color Hercules. This was part of the clearance from Walmart. Not sure, I think I paid $2.50 or $3.50. I know people were getting them for $1. I never got them for $1. It's a lightweight 3. The recommended crochet hook size is an H or 5mm. I am using a 6.5mm. And that was just to get the gauge correct. So, like I said, I crochet extra tightly, so I had to use a much better hook, bigger hook. So you can see that it's a 6.5mm K hook. That is what I'm using for this, which is a recommended for a 5mm. I like the way it's working up. So this is what it's going so far. This is the middle of week 5, and I believe it is an 8-week project. Usually when I do these crochet alongs, even though I use the larger hook, I typically end up with a project that's 4 inches smaller in diameter than what theirs is. So I try. I tried crocheting loosely. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. So I crochet tightly and use an extra large hook. Okay, another whip that I have going on, also from the Crochet Crowd and Mikey over at Yarnspirations there. This is another study. This is the second version I've made of this. This is a study in texture. Okay, so the yarn I'm using is the Super Saver Fruity Stripe. It is a 4-weight yarn, and the recommended hook size is 5.5mm. I believe that's what I'm using. Typically with the worsted weight yarns, I can get away with it. Let me see. Now I'm using a 5.75. So, oh, everything's backwards, sorry. So it's slightly larger, but I think in this hook set, I did not have a 5.5mm. I only had the 5.75. I think it goes in quarter instead of half. So I have a 5 1/4 and I have a 5.75, and then I have a 6. I don't know. It's just what I bought. This, I believe I am on the 4th week as well. Or no, the other one was 5th week. 4th week. And the other one that I did these in the Bernat Pop. The Bernat Pop is supposed to take 10 balls to complete the project, and it's going to be 52 inches across. I used 8 balls and it was only 48 inches across. So like I said, I crochet really tightly, I go up a hook size, I get the gauge right, and it still ends up smaller than what they say is going to be. Okay, I think that's all I have going right now. I do have a few more things that are in the wings. They're not quite on my hook yet, but they're there. They're waiting. I'm staring at them and they're giving me dirty looks. More Rainbow Baby projects, and I have more sewing, I think, to get done. So thanks again for watching, and have a good day. Happy crocheting.